to our show. We're almost done with April 2026. Isn't that amazing? Welcome to our show. This is The Neutral Zone, MauiNeutralZone.com. We are sitting in the studio of KAKU 88.5 FM, the voice of Maui, and we're simulcast on Akaku Maui Community Media. If you go up to the web, you can go to akaku.org while the show is on, and you'll see Channel 55, you're able to get me. But after that, you won't find it up there because I have this website, which you know, MauiNeutralZone.com, which is the preferred place to watch all our shows because we have a full transcript and a summary of every show, and we got, oh God, north of 550 shows, like almost 600 at the moment. And it becomes, we have a search engine on the site, so that becomes a community voice after so many shows. And here on Public Access, we've been doing this for so long. We hope what it does is gives the community some idea of what kind of things are being talked about in our community. I've been doing this here on radio for 8 years. And I've been doing shows. Can hardly believe it. It's 32 years? 32 years. It's time to get paid. My God. I have a guest here that if you're in the Maui Theatre, either MauiOnStage at the EAO, the historic EAO Theatre, or at MAPA, the Maui Academy of Performing Arts, and their new Naylor Theatre, or if you're anywhere on this island, and if you were at Unity Church of Maui, you would say, I know Bob Offermann. He is always there. He is the man. He is the guy that comes through, and if there's something we need, he's filling in the story. Bob Offermann, welcome to our show, Bob.
Thank you, Jason. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for asking me, and thank you for that great introduction. Wow.
I think I understated it.
Oh, I don't know. I think I have trouble living up to it, maybe. But
no, I can tell you from my experience. I've now known you, God, I don't know, 20 years maybe,
years,
right?
Yeah.
And that really, mostly through Unity. And whenever I think about EAO Theater, I'm always looking on stage and seeing who the performers are. But for them to do what they do, it takes, that thing, it takes a community to raise a child. And actors are big children. I was up at EAO doing things some years ago. I got to be a decade and a half, maybe. I did a couple of little things. But I have watched over the years that you've been involved, and I really never knew exactly what your role is. But then this year they did these Ghost Light Awards.
Yes.
They wanted to say, okay, we're going to start making our community aware of the people in front and behind and all kinds of stuff for the theater. And there, the king, the award of the night was Bob Offermann. You were off island, so I didn't get to see you that night. But it just stuck in my chest. You should be the guy that we should get here on the show. You've been doing the theater stuff for a long time?
I started on Maui in 2003.
I see. Wow.
A little production that a one-shot organization called Maui Civic Light Opera put on.
Oh.
And it was a combination, they did it in conjunction with MAPA, and a woman named Deborah Lynn, a beautiful operatic voice, and you know Deborah, had wanted to do this show called Phantom. And through some really fortunate circumstances, ran into a man named Richard Cray, who was a professional actor.
I know
on
Richard
Broadway.
from before.
Yeah. So he was on island, and they just bumped into each other over at the shops of Wailea and got to talking, and both of them wanted to do this, and they actually made it happen. They went into MAPA, and Francie von Temsky, who was running MAPA at the time, gave them, I think, a 3-page list of stuff. Do all this, and then we'll talk about helping you. And they went off, and they were the first people to ever do all that. And they did this production of Phantom at the in the MAC. Beautiful set. At the time, it was the biggest set ever on the MAC stage.
I can imagine.
And it's actually one of my favorite shows. You know the story. Everybody knows the story. It's the story of Phantom of the Opera. And this show was written, this is the American version, written by Murray Yelston and Arthur Kopitz. And they were writing this at the same time that they didn't really realize until towards the end that Andrew Lloyd Webber was writing his version in London. And they were sitting there fat, dumb, and happy, thinking they had another year until the copyright expired. What they didn't understand until too late is it expired a year earlier in England. So Lloyd Webber got his version staged in London, and of course it was a huge hit. And after that was out there, they didn't have a chance, really. It's had some small productions, or I don't know how small, but it's had
with
productions.
Deborah and Richard?
Well, no.
Oh,
no,
but
the one here was Deborah and Richard, but it was produced in a few places.
The score and everything was there, but it was an older...
Yeah. Well, it was, as I say, they didn't get out until after Lloyd Webber's version became a hit. In my opinion, their score is at least as good as Andrew Lloyd Webber's. And to be honest about it, I'm not a great Andrew Lloyd Webber fan, but I think Phantom of the Opera is probably his best score. And theirs was at least as good, in my opinion. And their book is way better, way, way better.
Wow.
The story is way more comprehensible. It's just much more relatable, relating to the characters and all that. And it was great. It's one of my favorite shows ever to see.
So were you involved in the theater before Maui or no?
Not really. I'd been living in the Bay Area in California, and I was going to theater a lot because I just love theater. There's something about being in a theater, seeing a show, seeing something live that is, for me, just so much better than a filmed version, a film story. So I went to a lot. I'd go on an average like 2 shows a month.
Wow. All
around the Bay Area, and sort of thinking, gee, it'd be neat to get involved and not really knowing how. But the only thing is my wife had always wanted to do ballet and hadn't had the opportunity as a child. And then at 37, walked her into her first ballet class.
Wow. And
managed to progress enough. 2 years later, she was dancing in the Nutcracker at the San Jose Center for the Performing Arts.
Wow.
And the San Jose CPA is sort of like the MAC in San Jose. So the stage is about the same size. The house is 2,000 seats instead of 1,200. So it's a big house. And they had a live orchestra for the Nutcracker. So she did that for 3 years and said, well, they're looking for people. They have people. So I got to go in and push props around and do things there. The San Jose CPA is a union house. So in general, nobody who's not union is allowed backstage unless you're performing. But the San Jose Dance Theater was grandfathered into the contract because they were doing the Nutcracker in San Jose in what preceded the CPA for decades before, so they got grandfathered in. So I got to go back and work with professionals, and that was really great. So then I got to Maui, and it took me a couple years to really get hooked in. But yeah, that's how I started.
So and you were working productions, individual productions, not really working.
No, just individual productions. Yeah, and I've never been on staff anywhere or done anything like that. But I get to Maui and just started. People. Once I did Phantom, I got to know, and then John Lang, who was a L.A. director who directed that, was doing Sweet Charity at the EAL that summer. And he needed somebody, and the word went out that, hey, John needs somebody to do this, and he was happy to have me because I did a couple of good things at Phantom. And then I sort of got tied into the system, and I've been doing it off and on, mostly on, but ever since. And I've done mostly set construction and working backstage during the show. I did set design once. I have one design credit. I did stage manager. I've been assistant stage manager a bunch of times. But
wow.
So that's me.
The only other person I had here was Virginia Sandell, who I know 100 years since.
Yeah, she's been doing it on Maui longer than I have.
But that's when I figured that, when I saw that show, the ones that stood out was Nara Boone, who I know. I thought, I'll have her. But then I thought, well, the people that really are the guts of this theater are the people that stand behind the the stage and make everything look easy from the front of the house.
Oh,
right?
everybody works so hard and puts so much effort into all the shows, and it's really. I mean, I want to say it was a tremendous honor for me just to be nominated for the award. And I really didn't think I was going to win, because I looked at the other people who were nominated, and all of them deserved it. I mean, everybody deserved it. So anyway, I was really honored. I got a text. I was in Italy, and I got this text saying, "You won."
Oh, that was from me.
Yeah. And I replied, I said, "Won what?"
That's right.
And actually, I got two. Yours was one, and I got another one from Larry Feinberg, if you know.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. So it was sort of a shock, and I'd say a tremendous honor. But you talk about, the actors. Everybody thinks about the actors because, they're the face, so they get the glory.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. And
we see that in Hollywood also.
And then they love it, but, they don't get paid either, for the most part. Nobody involved gets paid, really. So you talk about, you can get paid, and you do a lot of work in this show and benefit the community, and everybody in community theater does a lot of work. I mean, it is a huge commitment to be in a show, as I'm sure you're aware.
That's the reason that I didn't get involved through the years.
Sure.
It's an amazing amount of time you have to commit.
It's 8 weeks of rehearsals usually.
Wow.
And that's it's 5 or 6 days a week of rehearsing before it opens.
You
and
must
the last
love it
2 weeks
to
are
be
long.
there, boy.
Well, I mean, they must. I don't. That's one reason. Backstage, we don't come in until a week or two before it opens for tech. And so that's when all the technical elements and things get incorporated into the show.
And the director, and they're already
the
they know what they want.
Director's been doing it for 8 weeks, for 6 weeks.
So they're
at
the
that
ones
point.
that kind of guide you and
they
where you go.
they sort of yeah.
So what role do you like best? Is there such a thing?
I don't know if I do like any. I mean, I
love
love being part of the production. I like being backstage and watching it. I especially like musicals, and which is fortunate because musicals are usually where they need backstage help. Most plays don't need that much help. But yeah, I like being there. I like being with the cast, and all that. It's fun. The theater community on Maui is just incredible. They are so welcoming and so supportive, and it is really a big family. And if you go to theater around the island, the 3 theaters most people go to, the EAL, the MAPA, whatever they're doing now at the Naylor, so they have a home, so we should see more out of them. I look forward to that. And then Pro Arts, and you'll see mostly the same people, or you see a lot of the same people at different places.
On all the stages.
Yeah. And the same, and I work more in the EAL than anywhere else, but I'll work for MAPA and I work for Pro Arts, and they'll call me up and say, "Hey, we need some help with the set for this show," and I'll see if it fits in my schedule and go over and do what I can do.
What do you do when you're not doing theater? How's that for a funny question?
Oh, I sleep a lot, but no, I swim. My other big activity is swimming. I'm a swimmer.
Oh, okay.
And I've been swimming for 40-something years now.
Wow. Professionally?
No. Just I enjoy it.
40-something years? You're not that old, are you?
Oh. Yeah, right.
You are.
You and me.
So you're swimming, and you have a beautiful and wonderful, supportive wife, which is great.
I do.
And you're helping there at Unity Church. That's a beautiful community too.
It is. That's another great community. So and again, I do what I can there. I've been on the board there for a bunch of years, and
you're the only guy on sound that is, not true.
No,
They're all pretty good over there.
They're all pretty good. We have 4 of us, and we sort of alternate, do 1 week a month, and the 5th week.
I used to do that stuff.
So I know you do. So you know how to do that.
It's a great thing. And over at the EAL, when I saw that show, and I saw it was like every performer everyone that was, like you say, nominated.
Oh, that's
right. There was just like an overflow of talent and overflow of really terrific people.
Yeah, we are really blessed. here on Maui with the talent that exists. And when I first moved here, I was blown away. And because the talent we have and the amount of it is way beyond what you'd expect in a community of the size of Maui. I mean, we're now up to, 160,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
But back then, 25 years ago, it was, I think, under 100,000.
I think so, yeah.
But yet, the talent was here and is still here. And I think part of it is because it's such an attractive place, so people come to be here, and they bring their talent with them. And some of it is homegrown. I mean, everybody knows about the Baldwin Theater Guild and Suran Loudon and all the people she developed.
Right, it was like a stable. Of great people.
It was a great training, and now MAPA developed a lot of kids with their youth program, and now MauiOnStage also has a children's and youth program. So we're developing our own talent and bringing people up, and it's great because when I'd wanted to move to Hawaii for a long time. I first came in 1975. I actually owned a condo, or I owned part of a condo with some friends up in Napili since 1980, and so we'd come here and always want to move here someday. And I married Susan. She says, well, you keep talking about this. Why don't we make it happen? So we ended up moving probably at least 15 years earlier than I expected to happen. But I've been thinking, well, where would I want to live in Hawaii? And probably on Kauai because it's so beautiful. And we went there on vacation one year and spent a week just saying, well, what would it be like to live here? And, it's beautiful, but it's really quiet on Kauai, or at least it was 25 years ago.
It still is.
Yeah. So we realized then that Maui really had so much going for it. I mean, it may not everywhere be beautiful like Kauai is. It's not quite as lush maybe, but man, it's a beautiful place. It's a wonderful place, and it has a lot of stuff going for it.
And it has city and it has country all mixed in.
It has different climates. You can go up the mountain as high as you want if it's too hot in Kihei, or it has everything as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, it's been a great 26 years.
I haven't been off Maui. I'm almost crazy to say it. 20 years I haven't been off Maui.
Wow.
Except to Oahu when I got a pacemaker put in. That was a good trip.
That was a good trip, yeah. Maybe not a fun trip, but good results.
It was actually. Okay. Maui always, long ago, they used to say, oh, Maui doesn't have good health care. Maui is missing some of the things, but Maui's not missing it now.
No.
Including the traffic, by the way. We are.
Well, that's one reason we moved from Kihei, South Kihei, to Wailuku, because we were spending all of our time over here. My wife was working at Punana Leo. I was working a lot at the Iao and other places. So we were driving back and forth a lot. And the traffic kept getting heavier. And they said where the high school was going to be and started to build that. So once that gets open, it's going to be worse. And so on. And then we moved over to Wailuku. Yeah, it's great over here in Wailuku. It's just,
and everything's close enough. You can go wherever you want anyway, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Central Maui is undervalued.
Underappreciated.
Sure, but it is really got a great place here.
Well, people from the outside think, well, where are the good beaches? But, I guess if that's where you're spending all your time, then, be on the west side or be in Kihei. But Central Maui is great. It's great.
So what shows are coming up? Anything coming up that the world should know about or get in line to be part of?
Well, I don't know. I don't really know other than seasons have been announced. I know that at MauiOnStage, they have a kids show going on actually last weekend and this coming weekend called The Most Epic Birthday Party Ever. And I believe they have a youth show, a teenager show coming up. And then in the summer, they're doing a show called A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder, which was on Broadway, 10 years ago or so. And it's sort of it's a musical. And
a musical, Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder?
Yeah.
Doesn't that sound like a musical to you?
Doesn't sound like fun? Well, More Than Assassins, which is, of course, a Stephen Sondheim show. But this show is about a man who is eighth in line to some nobility, a dukedom or something like that in England. And so he has no prospects at all. And he realizes that, gee, if he just eliminates 7 other people, he gets the title. And so the 7 people in front of him start having accidents. And the sort of gimmick in the show is that same actor plays both this man and all 7 other heirs to the title.
Oh.
So it's sort of a clever show.
Wow, that should be fun.
Yeah, it is.
Do they have a main person in mind already?
I have no. It hasn't been cast. I don't even have auditions yet. So.
Oh, that sounds like a fun one. Though.
And that's one thing about theater here. I mean, yes, you see a lot of the same people in shows, but you also see new people, and auditions are open. If you're on the website of the different organizations, they have the auditions announced. You can go and audition to a show if you're interested. Who knows? You may end up on stage, and you may not get a leading role to begin with.
Yeah, you got to kind of get into the community.
Yeah,
right.
But it's really pretty open too, I think. So it's fun.
So can you imagine you just said 2003, right?
And
now we're at 2026.
Yeah.
23 years. They have raced away on my
yes
on my watch.
Yeah, how to get to be so
how did we
long
get
ago?
this? I still look in the mirror and I think young, but I have
Who's that old guy there? That's what I think every morning. Where's that old guy in my mirror?
I know. How does he get in there?
Yeah. Well, happens to all of us, and
I think so.
Make the best of it. And do what you can.
Well, it's to me, Maui has been a place where the theater has been great, the weather's been great, politics has been interesting here. Yeah, you're from San Francisco, so you've seen a lot of...
Well, I've lived in the Bay Area. Yeah, I'm not really from San Francisco, but I lived in the South Bay for 29 years or something.
Oh, long time.
Down near San Jose. Yeah.
What kind of work were you doing or are doing?
I'm doing as little as possible right now, but I was an electronic engineer.
I see.
Trained in engineering, and went to work out of college for a little company called Hewlett-Packard. You might have heard of. And just sort of stayed there. But every 9 or 10 years, I'd switch and do something different, and that's one nice thing to working for a big company. And I know nobody stays with the same company I was there for 39 years.
Wow.
But
you got
nobody does that
a number
anymore.
of roles
but
also.
Whenever I start to get bored, I'd be able to do something else. So I did design work for circuit design for about 10 years, and I went into manufacturing engineering. Was a manufacturing engineering manager for about 10 years.
Wow.
And then I started getting involved in not designing products, but in making them getting them out into the market and all that. So I was actually in marketing, though I didn't do actual traditional marketing, but I was actually working with outside companies and bringing in products and stuff like that. And I did that for a while.
That was good background to work in the tech department and
Sure.
all the theater.
Yeah, it's pretty good background.
Right? I'm sure. I mean, the people that I saw in the EAL theater that were working on stage design, I was involved way back at the best little whorehouse in Texas.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know if you were even on that show. Maybe
I was not working. I did not work on that show, but I did see it.
And that was a great experience, but just the amount of rehearsal time is what stopped me from coming back regularly. And Virginia grabbed me for Reservoir Dogs. The production there one time. I was the manager that had to, lie on the floor. They needed someone last minute, so I got...
I played a dead body once. I don't normally appear on stage, but every once in a while they'll rope me into something. I'm there, and they need somebody to do something like so. In 9 to 5, I was the boss's body I was the body in the morgue when they thought they'd killed the boss by accident. So I was lying there on a gurney under a sheet, with my feet sticking out.
And that was it? It was your part?
That was it, yeah. Well,
you didn't breathe, or you didn't do anything.
I was trying not to breathe, yeah.
God.
So, yeah, it's stage fun. I've been I've been roped into a few things here and there. But
Anything's on stage this sounds funny, that didn't go right, that got in the moment interesting events over there? Anything interesting like that?
well, I'm trying to think what I can. I mean, there's always something. I mean, it's which is the beauty of live theater, is that no two shows are exactly the same. Something goes, people drop lines, and think something happens, or something breaks, or something happens, and it's fun for me to watch, to stand in the wings, and when I have a chance, and watch what's going on, and see what's happening, and see how, it is amazing how the actors compensate and support each other when something goes wrong, when somebody drops a line. I mean, somebody may drop if they drop a cue, all right, how does somebody then come in and pick it up and make things look smooth?
And give it some continuity.
Yeah. So the audience doesn't notice, hopefully, and a lot of times they don't.
Right. And that's often what happens when you're on stage. That was the best performance I've ever seen of this.
Yeah.
And we do have some... I've had people say they come to Maui and they don't really expect much, and they are wowed.
Oh, yeah. I've certainly had friends come from a bunch of different places, and they come from, whoa, this is really good theater here. And it is. So, man, people out there, if they haven't tried community theater or tried the theater here on Maui, try it. Go see something. It's fun. So, yeah.
So,
and by the way, I'd like to just sort of build on what you said about how much work it is, because it is, and both for the actors and for the crew, the technical people, and for the most part, people don't get paid, and the people who do get paid don't get paid enough. And so I was talking to Luana, who's executive director at MauiOnStage, a couple of weeks ago, and saying, everybody, they had a volunteer appreciation thing. I said, everybody's a volunteer. She's a volunteer. She gets paid, but for the number of hours she puts in, and everybody. So it's people do it for the love of theater, I think.
What also is interesting about Luana, to me, is that when I hear the name Luana, I think she was in the theater when you started here, but she was a performer and she was much younger. Yeah. So we have a community theater community that have fathers and daughters and sons, and they're growing up, and really, really beautiful to see.
Yeah. Well, Luana, I believe, is a Baldwin kid. She's one of Miss Loudon's kids. So
Isn't that amazing? How Sue Ann Loudon just made a giant impression on the Maui Theater Group.
Yeah, she did, and it's we all owe her something.
Now we have time. We have enough time to discuss anything else going on in the world that you think is important, or in the theater world that is important. Because when I was thinking about having you on, I thought, how am I going to talk for a whole hour about the theater? We can talk about all kinds of stuff, but
there's a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Well, when I think about the theater here, I think about people like Francis Tawa.
Yes.
Who's a really serious, to me,
tremendous talent.
Yeah. And I remember when Amy, she was Gilliam at the time, Amy Nailii and Eric. Even I remember first show I saw here was Jamie Foxx. Everyone says the same Jamie. Jamie Foxx was here in Rocky Horror Picture Show with Eric.
Okay.
And those are years ago, and all these guys are friends for years. I've just always been impressed by every single time that I go to the theater. Every time, I'm just so appreciative of how supportive the audiences are. And there was a guy in the show with me way back when named Russell Taft.
I know Russ. Yeah.
Russ Taft now is a big benefactor to keep the One Night Only series going on, right?
Yeah, and for anybody who doesn't know what One Night Only, the Ono series is usually the first Monday of every month, but beginning of the month, they do a staged reading or a reading of some show, and it's free. You can go online and reserve a seat. If you don't reserve a seat, usually you can walk up and get in. But it's free, and it's not a stage production. There are no costumes or sets really, and so there's a bunch of people holding the scripts. And if you're into theater enough, if you've never done any theater, that may not be the best first exposure, but it's a great way to just be exposed to a bunch of different shows and a bunch of different types of shows. And sometimes you'll see it come back a couple of years later in a fully staged production. So it's
and the seniors group I've seen perform, I guess that's I don't know. That's just a really, to me, an amazing community because the seniors get to do it, the kids get to do it, and it's always a lot of fun.
Yeah, in fact, the seniors group, MAPA, has a seniors group, and they are actually putting on a show. I think it's this week, 2 times. I think it's tomorrow and Wednesday over in the Naylor Theatre. And again, it's free. I think you could go on, don't hold me to it, go online and check it out at their website, but I think it's at 6 o'clock, 6:30 at the Naylor Theatre, and you just go in and see people doing monologues and brief things. These are their senior acting class.
I actually ran into someone that was going to be in that, but I had a conflict on Sunday. I don't know what was going on Sunday in the late afternoon there in the Naylor. I don't know if that's the same.
That was Frozen.
Oh, was it?
Sunday, yeah. They're doing Frozen now. And this is
see what I didn't know.
Yeah, it's not a kids version. It's adult. I mean, there are a few kids in it, but mostly adults, and it's a great show. They do, MAPA always does a good production of something.
Oh, David Johnston takes it on, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
He does.
And he Carolyn Wright co-directed this one with him.
Oh, good.
So yeah. They did a great job. I think there's one more weekend, but I don't know if there are any seats left. Last time I looked, there were, over the 4 performances, I think over the weekend, there were probably not a dozen seats left. But,
wow.
So it's been very successful, so yeah. But the theater is a really nice theater. Now, that was a dream of David's ever since he got on Maui, which was 30-something years ago, I think. He'd wanted the theater, wanted to do something with that space, and
well, it's interesting. I'm used to thinking of a theater where the seats are sort of on a rise, but that's a different kind of a theater than I've ever experienced before.
Well, it's a black box, and black boxes have the characteristic and the advantage, if you will, that they are a blank space. They are literally a box with nothing in them, and you can build whatever you want in there. So, for example, Frozen, the set is all along one of the walls, and the whole rest of the thing is filled with audiences on risers. I helped with that. We built more platforms than I want to think of to get all the audience up on risers, so each row is 8 inches higher than the row in front of it.
Wow.
And they have like 150 seats.
Then they come down afterwards?
Yep.
Holy mackerel, you got to rebuild them each time.
So I've seen 3 shows in there now. The first one was Cabaret.
Right.
That was sort of on one end. And there was, I guess, a few risers along the side, like one level up, but mostly it was flat.
And changing of the stage orientation. Very interesting.
Yeah. Well, Jamie Tate, who is their resident scene and prop designer, is a wonderful scenic artist and construction guy. I first met him with one of the MAPA shows in the MAC. They did in the MAC. Oh, let's see, I don't know which one it was. Maybe it was either Miss Saigon or Evita. But he had worked with Dan Hayes, who was a designer who teaches up in Oregon, and Jamie came down here and helped build the sets. And fortunately, MAPA's really lucky to have him, I think, now, because he just does incredibly good work and incredibly beautiful work. But yeah.
And he gets to bring on people who are passionate like you to build risers. Wow, that's quite a job.
It is. Well, I didn't do that many of them. There were a bunch of other people who came.
Oh, sure. I understand.
But it's, but eventually that won't happen. They do have permanent risers on order. which are just made out of steel, and they're flexible. They can be reconfigured and all that.
Toward a wall.
Well, or they can be taken apart and rearranged and everything. 'Cause you don't want to have in a black box the same all the time. I mean, that's the McCoy Theater, is a black box, and they put in permanent risers there.
That's at the Maui Arts and Cultural Center. Yeah.
And
it limits what they can do.
The risers they do, they can collapse them all back and have a flat floor. They can pull them all out like they usually are, but it's just, and then there's a little stage that they set up in the front.
Right. They don't have much room to expand the stage.
But the best black boxes have reconfigurable risers, so you can move them around and you can have them all on one side like a traditional theater, or you can put them on two sides, or you can do a theater in the round, and you just move the stuff around, and that gives the director a lot of flexibility.
Wow. Well, that's really great, and that's how the Naylor Theater happened to, what do they say, made it the best it could be.
That's what they're doing. Yeah, that's what they're doing. And just when they can get their risers in it and put in the permanent seats, it'll be even better than it is now. And I was talking to Carolyn, and she said, well, they have production delays with getting the risers, and they've had production delays for 6 months now, and they ordered them a long time ago, so we'll see. It seems the production delays might have started about the time the tariff started, because they have a fixed-price contract on them.
Oh, I was going to say they were probably stuck in the Straits of Hormuz, can't get through.
I don't think they come from there, but I know.
I know. No, but I got you. Production delays based on price and timing and the whole deal.
But who knows? It's tough. But the theater community here is nothing if not flexible and resilient, and they're compensating. They've made a bunch of stuff work.
And Lynn from Pro Arts, she was also involved in the theater in Wailuku.
Oh yeah, she does stuff. Lynn is an incredibly talented person in so many ways, because she acts, she can sing, and she's a playwright. She's written plays, and she's done this amazing job with Pro Arts. I mean, that place is hopping. There's something almost every day in there. Sometimes two things in a day.
Yeah.
And I mean, she has made that place such a success.
And with a small audience, you really don't have the potential to get as much revenue.
No, they have around 100 seats, and that's it.
Which is really nice to see, a very intimate show.
Yeah. We saw a really interesting one yesterday over there, and it was again a stage reading. It was sort of like an Ono, and it's a new. Well, I don't know how new it is. Written by a woman in Honolulu about Prince Kuhio, and sort of his story. And they got this very great cast and put together. This is something that Hoko Pavao had organized and do it as part of her project. And she has, I got a chance to talk with her a little bit afterwards, and she's basically starting a production company that is doing local type plays, either about or by, as I understand it, Hawaii. Hawaiians. And I said, sort of like Kumu Kahua. If you're familiar with Kumu Kahua Theater on Oahu, whose mission is to produce plays either about or written by the people of Hawaii.
Terrific.
And,
that's really a beautiful thing to see, that the local culture is getting supported like that.
Yeah, and I think that's Hoku's mission. And I told her, anything I can do to help, let me know, because I think it's a really important and a great thing to do. So I hope she's successful. I know people wondered when she left MAPA, because she was sort of in line. She was, assistant artistic director or something. I don't know what the title was exactly, but you sort of say, looks like maybe David's lining her up to take over when he's ready to step down. And she left. But this is something that she really wants to do and really needs to do. And
wow.
So yeah.
Well, when I think about setting up your own production company, that's quite a task.
Yeah, and talk about people who are tremendously talented. Both Hoku and her husband Ricky are just such talented actors. People, you see there in a cast. I always want to make sure. So, yeah. So.
anything that going on, I'm always thinking about when we're sitting here, where the future is going here. Do you see any? Well, you just
that's pretty broad. Where's
that
the
was
future
pretty
going?
broad, but it's really great to hear that all the theaters cooperate.
Oh yeah, they really do. They work together. They lend each other props. They, and obviously the same people work, as far as being in the show or working on the shows, so on. One thing I want to sort of good news I found out about is the county. And I don't know if everybody knows this, but the county owns the Yale Theater. That building is county property, and it's under lease to MauiOnStage. And I'm not clear where the dividing line is as far as maintenance goes between what the county does and what MauiOnStage is responsible for doing. Obviously, MauiOnStage does the day-to-day stuff, but the county, I believe, is supposed to do all the major stuff.
Are they the ones that put in? I think the county spent a great deal of money.
I think so, putting in the air conditioning and the solar.
The chairs, maybe.
I don't know. The chairs were. I don't know who did the chairs,
okay,
but yeah.
But they did some major things when the place was in disrepair for a while.
Yeah, well, of course, it's never been in complete repair, because in the time I've been involved with it, the roof has always leaked to a greater or lesser extent. And it's become a greater extent the last few years. Oh. So you get used to going up in the attic and emptying the buckets that are up there or down. There's a place in the wings on the shop where the water comes dripping down off of and hits a loft and then drips down curtains onto the stage floor.
So you know where the leaks are.
Pretty much, except there are new ones that keep appearing. But the good news is that the county has appropriated, I don't remember, but at least a fairly large sum of money. I think it's on $1 million sort of level, to get things started on replacing the roof. And replacing the roof there is going to be a huge job, because the solar has to come down and the air conditioning, what's up there.
You have to take off the things that are up there
and so on. But we're hoping also, at least I'm hoping, and I'm not involved in any official way, so I can't speak for them, but I'm hoping at the same time we can raise some money and do some additional structural strengthening and put in some more ability to hang stuff from the ceiling or from the roof. Because one thing about DL Theater is we're always running up against getting enough light on different areas. How many lights can you hang up there? And can you get light? Like way upstage behind the proscenium, there's no way to light that very well if you're a lighting person.
You mean there's no thing to hook it to?
There's no place to put it, and if you get out front too far, you're too close to the proscenium and can't get it down there without casting a shadow. And so we'd like to put in some more electrical rails so you can hang more lights and do that. Fortunately, with LED lights now, I think there's enough electrical capacity so they don't have to increase the service.
Yeah, I think that's what's going on.
Because there's so much, but you still have to hang the lights up there, and they're still heavy, and they have to have a place to put them and all that. So my hope, I hope Luana's probably saying they're planning a fundraising campaign now, but anyway, my hope is we can, at the same time we're doing the absolutely necessary repairs before the building falls down. And it really is, it's bad. It needs work to be done. But getting into the county budget is always a big deal every year, because they have lots of stuff to spend their money on.
They got lots of stuff to spend on.
But anyway, hopefully at the same time, while it's shut down to do this work, and unfortunately it has to be shut down for some period of time to do this, but we can also do some things to make it a better theater. So we can get better shows in there.
Well, that's good. That's good to hear that it's being supported like that.
Yeah, but talk to your council person about that and make sure that they're willing to support the Yale Theater and give them the money that's necessary to make sure, because it really is a gem, and I'd hate to see it destroyed through lack of maintenance. And I mean, it's not just holes in the roof; it's spalling around the edge and the concrete. Now, the concrete walls, and if you're not familiar, spalling is when water gets into cracks in the concrete and gets to the rebar, and the rebar starts to rust. And when iron rusts, steel rusts, it expands. So that makes the cracks even bigger. And it's sort of a positive feedback thing. It keeps accelerating. And there's rebar, there's spalling up in the top of the walls of the EOW where water has leaked through the roof and gotten into the top of the wall and gets anyway. So
it's an advanced case of we have to.
Yeah, and I'm not a structural engineer, and I haven't gone up and inspected it, so I don't know how bad it really is. But I know it's more than just put a new roof on it.
Yeah, it's got structural support
some things
needed
that need to be
before they put the roof
improved.
on. Yeah. Well, just after this large rain thing we've had here in the last month, I don't think any buildings on Maui.
Well, that's true.
They have all gotten just completely stuffed. Yeah. But that's really, I'm very happy to hear that the county's again putting it up on their radar as something.
They put something
priority.
in the budget. I'm told they put something in the budget for next year, the next fiscal year.
So talk to your council people. The budget thing is still open.
Yeah, make sure it stays in there. So and also that enough appears in the next year to actually go in and do all the work that needs to be done. So yeah.
Now I know that when I think of my show and I think of the people that I know, some people, yourself I guess included, who don't have cable. Some people don't have cable. Akaku Maui Community Media is on the internet, but it's a really interesting time now because you have to be able to find these shows. If you're not on cable, and if you're on the net, you go to akaku.org if you know that's how to go. And when you go up there and you look for my show and you say, where's Jason's show? Jason's been on this thing for 30 years. Where is he? Well, because I have a website, it seems, or I have a YouTube channel, they don't have me there listed on the shows. And so when I go to Lanai, they say, oh, Mr. Akaku. Well, they don't find me on there. You got to go to MauiNeutralZone.com.
Okay.
Because I don't know how the rules are and how they set us all up, but public access TV, in my mind, should all be working together with everybody to try to generate more revenue, because this thing gets stripped out of its funding has come from a small percentage of the cable bills. And as cable customers through destruction of the West Side, that was maybe 2,000 or 3,000 customers. So that all impacts the bottom line of Akaku's money. And now there was some kind of a recent thing where the in-kind donations from people were also infecting the bottom line of Akaku now.
Really?
Isn't that So the more people want to help and give their time, that's actually hurting the cash flow.
Assign a value to it and deduct it from the
Isn't that
appropriation
incredible? That was mind-blowing.
That's really screwed up.
Yeah, and that's going on right now. That's another thing we should all be really aware of, that the large cable companies are trying to give less money to public access TV. Of course. They were sort of doing it even before we had our president trying to limit public radio across the country and things.
Public everything,
But Spectrum, without getting into detail, it's really sad because public access TV has really been on Maui an amazing support for this island. Mm-hmm. And as gets out all the council meetings that we see and all kinds of things going on the island, it's absolutely a key to people here being in touch. You know?
Yeah.
So
it's a great service.
We're hoping. So that's why I feel really good when I'm sitting here in KAQU and I realize there's nothing about this. In all the years I've been here now, God knows. See, I'm not Akaku either, remember. I'm just floating in and using the facilities. We can join Akaku and take classes and become a producer. You could become a TV producer or a radio show producer. And or if you want, or you guys could also. And it's just been a really terrific spot. I don't know how our community would have been without a public access television station here. It has really been terrific.
Yeah, and it's a way for news to get out as newspapers decline or go away. I mean, the Maui News is
A
very
shadow
small
of its former
shadow,
self.
exactly. Yeah, it's almost disappeared. It's such a shadow.
It's like used to be enough pages where you could put it down, it wouldn't blow away. Now it's unbelievable.
It is.
But every print media seems
every
to be
print
getting
media has that because everybody's going online. I understand. I guess nobody's advertising.
Well, it makes it hard for people that think about print media as a way to advertise.
Yeah.
Going online can be prohibitively expensive. The new model seems to be paying.
Yes. Plus, it's harder for us older people who are used to print media to just sort of get used to getting everything online.
And with so many choices, it's hard online to know where to go.
Exactly. We talk about finding you. Okay, you need to go and somehow do a search online to find you or find Akaku on what's it?
Right. And if you can't find it on Akaku, you think, well, then how am I going to find it? And you do, some people do, and I hear that all the time.
Yeah, people do, but
we don't have enough viewers. So if you see this show, share it with everyone that you know. You know why? Because to me, the search engine feature on the website is really great. I've interviewed candidates for 15 election cycles, so that's
that's a lot.
Time. That's 30 years.
Yeah.
And so when you look it up there and you have issues you'd like to address, put those words in the search engine, see who spoke about it, see what they said, all this, and you kind of get a really interesting overview of what has progressed and what hasn't. And some people really have wondered why that hasn't been done before, because it's a lot of work. That's why. Each of those shows I had to load up. I had to do the transcripts for each of the shows. The AI can do it for you, but you still have to do a lot of the work. Maybe now with all these new AI things, but I'm almost afraid to explore AI too far because the more I explore it, the more I realize that it's eliminating work and it's also making people that were using their brain use these tools. That's good.
Instead of thinking.
But instead of thinking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sometimes, yeah.
And I'm always wondering if that is part of the problem. We're dumbing down our society through giving them tools that are smart.
It could be. It's
so
people learn. More people know less because they're using the tools, and there are just a few people who understand the tools.
Remember when you used to have handwriting analysis? Now people don't have handwriting. They've all learned to print.
Yeah.
I don't know what that tells us.
Yeah. I remember years and years ago when I was a teenager, I think, I read a science fiction story. And in this world, in the story, it had progressed to such that medicine was totally, basically automated. So the doctor would come out and he'd pull out this device and sort of like in Star Trek, and wave it over you or something, and it would come up with a diagnosis, and he'd punch in some buttons and do it. But the person had no idea what's really going on. And there were a small number of people who were really the controllers of all of these doctors who invented all this stuff and created it. But the doctors didn't know because they were just relying on the tools. And I think that's happening more and more in our society. And people are not learning how to think and to think logically.
And the doctors, at least the Western medicine doctors I've met, they admit it, that they don't really too much know about natural solutions.
That's true too.
The medical drug companies have given them solutions, and when I'm taking eight different medications a day.
Yeah.
I'm blown away. So I, every so often, get rid of a couple and try it with less of them. And I'm in the middle of that process.
Do a little test on yourself.
Do a little test and try. Sure. I'm pretty healthy in what I eat, for all these years. Yeah. But I am always amazed that there are more and more people aware that there are alternatives, and more people requesting things that are alternative. How about when you go to Costco and you never saw organic things there now?
Yeah.
There's all kinds of organic choices, and the whole shelf at Costco really caters to the audience that's starting to wake up to the things going on in foods.
Yeah,
Amazing.
I think that the whole thing on food is good. I think there's more information out there. People are learning not to just rely on do exactly what the doctor says. The doctor says, oh, well, take this and don't ask any questions. The flip side of that is there's a lot of misinformation out there. There's a lot of information that conflicts. And so figuring out what to believe is sometimes
there we go. That's the other problems going on. Information that conflicts, videos that you don't know if they're real or if they've been created by someone in the lab.
Well, exactly. You don't know what's what. And, without getting political or too political, it used to be you could at least rely on like the CDC, and it may not be, they may not get everything right, but it's the best knowledge that they have, that basically anybody has. And so you could go and find out what is known and what's recommended. And I don't know if that's true anymore.
I don't know if it is either. I'm looking at the clock and realizing, can you imagine we've spent a whole hour here? Can you imagine?
It's amazing. Well, thank you. It's so much fun talking to you, Jason.
Bob Offermann, absolutely. If you don't know Bob Offermann, you'll want to. You can get in touch with us, or we'll get a number. We'll see what we'll put up there on the screen so you can get in touch with Bob. Thank you very much for joining me here today.
It's been a real pleasure, Jason. Thank you.
I really appreciate you, and I wanted you to know it by bringing you up and bringing it to the attention of everyone here. So I'm really happy about that.
Great. Thank you.
Well, everyone, we are going, and I am going to check out. Watch this. Look at that. We are out of here. We will see you next week. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Be well.